Thanks to the support as a channel member, Simon. Well, for the second season in a row and with a second football team in a row, is that a sentence? We've made it to the Champions League final without really ever looking like we were competing for our own domestic league. It seems like there's a theme emerging. I'm all for it. Let's win another Champions League and worry about actually winning a league title at some point. That sounds like a job for future Kev. Today, all about Champions League number 2. Hello, welcome to Club 4, Part 10 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the Champions League final. It is Barcelona versus Liverpool, unfortunately. We had hoped to be able to face former club Preston in the final, but unfortunately, they were not able to make it past Liverpool, losing 3-0 at home in the first leg really cost them. They did manage a respectable 1-1 draw away from home in the second leg, but unfortunately, that's all they were able to manage. And we're not likely to see Preston back in Europe anytime soon because they've finished the Premier League season down in 11th. Mid-table in the Premier League definitely seems about right for this Preston team as well. So despite winning the Europa League last year, they are going to be Europe-less next year, even with a run to the semi-final this year, which is very sad. It does minimise our chances of playing Preston until we inevitably loop back round to the Premier League, because the more this theme of doing well in the Champions League but absolutely pathetic in domestic leagues goes, the more I'm feeling like we're going to have to go back and win some of these domestic leagues at some point. I don't plan to leave Barcelona anytime soon. I do fully intend, unless they sack me, which seems harsh, I do fully intend to be here next year, but Real Madrid look like quite an impressive team to try and topple. They finished the season with over 100 points, us getting 83 points, but finishing 19 points behind our big rivals. Isn't ideal, but we have got our budgets for next year in place already. That's obviously going to be something we worry about for tomorrow. We never worry about that because we're Barcelona, and things like that don't matter at Barcelona, because despite that, they've still given us this. They're pulling levers, presumably, but let's not worry about any of the off-the-pitch stuff. Again, I'm fully ingrained in Barcelona now, as you can tell. Let's not worry about any of the off-the-pitch stuff. It is all about on the pitch, Champions League final against a Liverpool team that finished second in the Premier League, with us finishing second in La Liga. So a real showpiece for the Champions League as the second-place teams from the two biggest leagues in Europe go head-to-head. And this is going to be the team we put out there to try and win, to try and take the title off of Spurs, who I won it with last year. It's Simon in goal, a back four of Balde, Araujo, Lazarov and Agostini, De Jong at the base of the midfield, Gavi and Pedri ahead of him, Fati on the left, Torres on the right, Sakuna up front. I guess if you were going to pick a team based on this squad, I think that's probably the 11 that most of you lot would pick. So we're going with the most obvious starting lineup in the hope that if it doesn't go to plan, then at least I can say, well, what would you have done? I picked the obvious team. We've not tried to do anything too clever here. Champions League final, pick the best 11 players. It's revolutionary. Right, we are struggling to get the ball out at the back here. Liverpool pushing us back into our own penalty area, but the composure of De Jong in front of the back four does able to get it free, and Fati has played it into the path of Sakuna. Sakuna with the effort that is saved by Alisson in goal for Liverpool. And I mean, Sakuna does need to have a good game today because Aspas picked up an injury on the last day of the season, so we don't really have a backup striker. The backup striker that we've got on the bench is Jonathan Tamang. So if we don't get anything out of Sakuna, we don't really have a backup option, because Tamang will definitely be heading back to Preston this summer. This experiment of bringing him into Barcelona to see if he could become a superstar hasn't come off. Hopefully he'll go into Preston and do really well. Sakuna plays it into the path of Ferran Torres, who's got all the time in the world to pick his spot. But the spot that he picked was like Alisson's shin, which was a weird spot when the whole of the goal there was available to him. But we've got a corner. It's going to be Gavi to take. Floats it in, looking for Lazarov, but can't find him. It comes free to Fati, and now De Jong on the edge of the area gives it to Gavi. If he can beat his man, I don't think he needs to. Mo Salah's fouled him there. The referee's got his finger in his ear. There's still only 5 minutes on the clock, and I think we've got an early penalty. The referee is talking to VAR and the penalty has been awarded. I mean, it would have been very awkward if it wasn't, because he stopped us in full flow of an attack. But it is going to be Ferran Torres to step up to... Yeah, he missed. Well, hopefully that's not the only chance we get this evening. But yeah, Torres has missed the penalty. And the early excitement has died down a little bit as we go through the next 10 minutes with no highlights. I've just noticed Liverpool have got Jude Bellingham in their central midfield. So that's troublesome. And now I've singled him out by name. I imagine he's going to go and score against us, because that is Football Manager things. That's how it works. But they are trying to knock the ball around at the back, and they've given the ball to Sakuna. Upamecano with a terrible mistake. That completely makes up for all the penalty nonsense. We don't worry about missing a penalty if we're going to get an absolute gift like that. And Upamecano, that was so poor. You'd seen us earlier in the match confidently and calmly knock the ball around our defence. Liverpool trying to do the same thing. They're just not on De Jong's level, clearly. And Sakuna, we've seen it from him so many times in the short time he's been at the club. His pace is just a huge threat. It is a massive problem for everyone who he comes up against. And that's exactly what it was there. It was a slightly underhit pass from Upamecano that was made to look much worse than it was, because Sakuna got onto it when most strikers wouldn't have the pace to get there. And as I'm talking about how rubbish Upamecano is, he has got his revenge. He's come up the other end and scored a 47th minute equaliser. It should be half-time by now, but Upamecano deciding to right his wrong from previously, and it's 1-1 as we go into half-time, and I'd like to win. Can we win, please? Because quite apart from anything else, I'd quite like a second successive match day vlog where we get to turn up at a club having already won the Champions League with them. When we did Spurs the other week, we'd already won the Champions League. We'd actually already left Spurs before it turned up on the matchday vlog. I think that's unlikely with Barcelona. We are there this weekend. If you are a Barcelona local, I am going to be in Barcelona this weekend, specifically there for the Barcelona versus Valencia match on Sunday evening. So yeah, keep an eye out for me on the telly, and I'll hopefully be able to deliver my little Champions League trophy to them and say, look what I did for you. Aren't I nice? But we do actually have to win the thing first. And Ansu Fati has picked up a knock, pulled knee ligaments. So Zeballos is going to come on. That's a relatively easy substitution to make. Zeballos probably would have felt a little bit hard done by not being on the pitch from the start anyway. But it is an attacking option that's now taken away from us. Torres is down on a 6. So we're going to bring Temel on for him. No, we're not. We're going to put Gavi out there, and we're going to bring La Cruz on for him. And we're going to do that. And then we're also looking at Balde, who is shattered. Gavi is shattered. So many tired legs. We'll take Balde off for now. And we'll be monitoring everyone else who's tiring. I don't know why everyone's so tired. We don't normally have 4 or 5 players all shattered with 20 minutes to go in a football match. They're clearly giving it a good go today. Right, Agostini's going to come off for Koundé. Got to keep things fresh defensively. And I think we take off Pedri here. And we will bring on Temel now and swap those two over. Gavi, a little bit younger, not on a yellow card, and he's our captain. So Pedri's the one who can make way. And if we have to go to extra time and make another change, then Gavi can come off then. And it looked like Alisson had carried the ball over the goal line there, but we're not even looking at goal line technology, which is very troubling, because that looked like I'm convinced he's carried that over his own line, and now he lumps it forward, and luckily the Liverpool striker isn't really alert to what's going on, and we managed to deal with it relatively comfortably. Can we not have a defensive howl of our own now, please? As much as I like us showing how comfortable we are on the football, let's just get it into the other half. Koundé, we've seen him do this so many times this season, just nicking the ball off an opposing fullback, cuts it back for La Cruz, and we're in the last 7 minutes of the match, and La Cruz has scored another goal. I mean, it's the first one he scored. It's another goal for us. This is why I'm not a professional commentator, but we're 2-1 up in the Champions League final. I'm giddy, so I don't care. This is brilliant from Koundé. He does that so often, and he's set up the goal for us, and that might just be the winner. It's a lovely finish from La Cruz. Huge credit to Koundé, though, for the work he did in the build-up to it. And now we just need to hold on. But once again, we're knocking the ball around at the back, getting ready for our own defensive howler. It is Koundé Please don't have another man who's both hero and villain today. In fact, we're not going to. He's played it forward to Gavi, who is tired, but is a little bag of tricks, and he plays it back to Koundé, and now De Jong and Temel. Pereira, the fullback on the other side, tries to go past his man, but Fabinho, who inexplicably is still playing for Liverpool in 8 years' time, manages to get the ball away. Liverpool fans, how are you feeling about that? Luis Diaz plays it across, but Araujo is there to clear, and Gavi is tiring and can't get his head onto that one, and Liverpool from the edge of the area. So, I mean, I'll allow shots from Kanate from there all day long. I'd much rather they did that than have a proper chance. And it's back with the Liverpool defenders again, who have already had their one huge mistake for today, and they got another one in them. I'd very much like that. And in fact, they have given away to Zeballos, and now Gavi is in acres of space, the Barcelona captain, to win us the Champions League. It's Barcelona 3, Liverpool 1. Gavi, the captain, scores right at the end of this match, and for the second season in a row, I'm going to lift the Champions League. This is bonkers. This is not how non-league to legend normally works. If you're new to the series this year, traditionally, we'll win a domestic league or two, maybe a domestic cup, maybe even move to another country and win the league there as well. And then eventually, usually right at the end of the series, we finally win a Champions League. We're in topsy-turvy land this year. 2 Champions Leagues before we've won a league title. I mean, I don't have any explanation for it. I guess I'm good at building cup teams. Who'd have thought the guy who's won the Streamer Showdown 7 times can do knockout football? It was always going to translate into non-league to legend at some point, and it seems like this is the year. I'm speaking as if it's already won. There is actually 5 minutes of added time here, so we do have to remain focused, because otherwise we're going to let Liverpool back into this game. They are the team that toppled Preston, remember? But look at us, passing the ball around beautifully. That's the thing I'm most proud of. We've not only done it with 2 different teams in 2 consecutive years, we've done it playing 2 completely different styles. And there's La Cruz with the 4th. We're making it look easy now. We gegenpressed with Tottenham. We've ticky-tackered with Barcelona. And we've won it with both of them. And we're doing it with style now. We're making it look like it was much less hard work than it actually was with these late goals. 3 goals in the final 10 minutes of the match. Liverpool have given up at this point, and we are getting ready to lift the trophy. I mean, it is completely deserved. If you look at the match stats, if you look at the XG, it is absolutely deserved. But here we go. I don't know why I'm wearing a boring grey suit. I should get a suit in the Barcelona colours. But here we are. Gavi is handed the trophy, and he goes on his little stroll towards where the rest of us are hanging out. And there we go. Barcelona are the champions of Europe. I don't know how many times they've won it previously. All I know about is I've now won it twice, and I must be starting to move up that Hall of Fame, because I think on a club level, there is nothing that gives more Hall of Fame points than a Champions League win. So we now have 2 of them. We've got to win La Liga next year. I can't not win a league title and keep delivering Champions League wins. It is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Fatty's picked up an injury. There you go. More money has piled in. Does it say here how many times we've won it now? 6. That's the 6th time Barcelona have won it. 2nd time I've won it. Does it mention that it is my 2nd time? No, it doesn't. Well, at least, is that Roberto Mancini? At least Everton's manager's got something to say. How very odd. Well, can I make it a personal 3-in-a-row Champions League win next year? The priority is definitely going to be La Liga, but now we know the Champions League is winnable. We've got to go and try and do it, haven't we? Transfers tomorrow. We've not got loads to spend. But expect shenanigans. We must win La Liga. That's the plan for next year. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.